Welcome to the Sharon Jones Show, where we're keeping up with the Joneses. And now here's your host, Sharon Jones.
All right, we're getting ready to do it up today. Today is another great day that the Lord has made, and I'm excited about it. We have on set today Ms. Asleen Florence, which is an awesome book writer. We also have Pastor Clyde, which has really went over and above to do a men cancer screening in our community. And we also have our partner with us from Faith Family Worship Center, Pastor Howe. So, hey, sit back, relax, enjoy yourself, because we'll be right back.
Okay, so we drowned the fire, stirred it, drowned it again, and now just feel if it's cold.
Yeah.
Cool.
Smokey just gave me a bear hug.
I know. I already posted it.
Welcome back to the Sharon Jones Show. Sitting on set today talking with a beautiful book writer. I tell you, it's a blessing to be spiritual, anointed, and gifted, and putting your gifts where people can see the fruits of labor. How you doing, Miss Asleen Florence?
Hello, Miss Jones.
How you doing?
I'm doing fabulous.
You look
so
fabulous.
Blessed. Well, thank you.
Amen.
Thank you.
I'm so excited you took the offer to come out.
Absolutely.
Because people need to hear about what you're going to discuss with me. You know, the book here that's sitting on the display, Who Am I? Why am I different? Now, that sums for children and adults. But can you tell us a little bit about you?
Absolutely.
And what gave you the motivation to write this book?
Absolutely. Well, first of all, thank you for having me. And actually, my story began, believe it or not, I was a student out at Columbus State. And actually, this was a biology project assignment. And so at the end of the course, the professor said, well, you have 3 options. You could write a book, or you could paint a picture, or you could do a 12-page paper. And that wasn't about to happen. And I love writing. And we had to use the textbook to actually write the book from the material, from the textbooks. Okay. So I was a little stuck, didn't really know where I was going with this, but then I sat there and started looking at all the insects in this textbook, and they were all different. Wow. But then I needed to find out how to incorporate that with a story in the book, and I tend to write about my experiences.
Wow.
And during that time, I was having some experiences with colorism. My son, Darnell, he's 21 now, and Janelle, she's 15. Actually, today is her birthday.
All right. Happy birthday, baby.
But my experience came about because my 3 adult children were of a different hue and different shade. And they had no problems going through middle school, high school, college. They were never picked on. They were never treated indifferent. But I found that Darnell and Janelle, their hues are much darker.
Wow.
And so, as you know, colorism is being racially discriminated against within your own ethnicity.
Right.
And we sometimes, as African Americans, we don't think about what we are saying to our children and grandchildren, but they are listening, and they are pairing what you say to this child versus what they say to them. And so they were affected by that. I had, my son was, treated very poorly by a church member. He was, called a name and, the little joke, oh, I can't see you, I can't see you.
Oh.
And he actually asked me to get something to clear his skin up, to make it brighter.
God. Make it brighter.
And I said, no, no, absolutely not. You're beautiful, you're handsome.
Yes.
And God created you perfectly just the way you are.
Amen.
And the same as it was with Janelle. I have 2 older daughters, and their hair is a little bit straighter and longer and different texture, I should say. Yes. But my daughter Janelle has thick, coarse, beautiful long hair as well. It's just not the same texture. And so she experienced a lot of colorism where family members, church members, and other people, they Google at those that had the straight, pretty hair and lighter hues versus, her. So as I was sitting there trying to get this book together, I thought about all of these insects are different, but they have a place in our society and in our ecosystem, absolutely. So I thought, Jermaine is a handsome young man, and he's very high yellow, and my daughter Shawanda and my daughter Tanya, they are fine, beautiful young ladies. But Darna and Janelle, they have a special hues themselves, and they are all beautiful. They're all different, but they're all beautiful and wonderfully made. Yes. So I just took the insects in the textbook and started to incorporate and use Charlie the caterpillar as my main character and made him different. Yes. And he wanted to know, why is it that he couldn't do what Annie the ant could do? Because ants themselves can carry up to 20 pounds of their own weight. Yes. So the book really came together, and it teaches children fun science facts, but it helps boost their self-esteem as well. So that's how the book came about, and I didn't publish it at that time because that was in 2008, and my husband was suffering with cancer at that time. So, yes.
But it all came together.
It all came together. It all came together. He passed away in June of 2009. 2009, I was just traumatic. I was hit so hard with grief. We had 6 deaths in the family. Jesus. 2 aunts, and then my older daughter's in-laws, mother-in-laws, father-in-law, they passed away. And then my mother dropped dead 2 days before Christmas of the same year, almost 6 months to the date. And I was just devastated. Yes. And through the years, I would look at the book and I think, oh, whatever. But I remember that my late husband would say, you should try to get this published. And I was like, nobody want to read that. Oh. But the grief took a hold of me, and it nearly took me under. And I realized that there was one thing that I read that was very important to me, that got me up and moving. And that was the remedy for discouragement was faith, prayer, and works. So I got up and I just put and I decided that, you know what, I need to get my bones moving, because we can let cancer take us under, but we have to be able to regroup, hold on to God, and know that He is our strength and our refuge, and He's going to be there to help me every step of the way.
Amen.
Yes.
So how can they find this book?
They can find this book at asleenflorence at yahoo.com, and you can email me, and they can send me an email, and I put a package together. Those that want the book, they can actually get the book along with a free online version of the book.
Oh, wonderful.
Yes.
Awesome.
And so
that's awesome.
That's a wrap.
Okay. Thank you so much. You guys keep it locked right here with the Joneses, same place. See you in a minute.
Okay, so we drowned the fire, stirred it, drowned it again, and now just feel if it's cold.
Yeah.
Cool.
Smokey just gave me a bear hug.
I know. I already posted it.
Are your children in the right car seat for their age and size? Is the seat supposed to be forward-facing or rear-facing? Did they move to a booster seat too soon? It may be too late to check when you're on the road. Fortunately, you're on the couch. Car crashes are a leading killer of children 1 to 13. Don't think you know. Know you know.
There's a shelter pet who wants to meet you. Meet one today. Visit theshelterpetproject.org. Adopt.
Welcome back to the Sharon Jones Show. I tell you, it's always a blessing to sit with a man of God that has a grand testimony, that's doing things for our community, in the community. We welcome you today, Pastor Clyde.
It's good to be here. Thank you for inviting me on the show, and I'm glad to be here with you.
Yes, sir. Always good. I talked with you about a year or so ago.
Yes.
And you had such good information on that segment. And I thought that I would definitely reach out to you because some of the people in the city were talking about this great screening process that you have with the Tree of Life. Can you talk to us a little bit about that, please?
Yes, on March 11, the second Saturday in March, we have a free screening prostate screening for men at no cost to them. It'll be through the blood draw, the PSA. And the good news is that it is 80% accuracy rating. And also, of course, there's some genetics involved, but if we find the disease in time, there's a 100% cure rate. And we know that screening saves lives. I was just sharing with you off camera a moment ago that back in April of 2016, my second colonoscopy, the first one was clear. At 60, I took another one. They stopped in the middle. They found cancer. And through the MRI, they said the head was already stage 4. And I had no symptoms. But through another test to the CAT scan to make sure that we're looking at, it was verified. And but then there's also Dr. Jesus.
Okay.
That's also the word. And Isaiah says, who report are you going to believe?
Yes.
And we chose to believe what God says in His Word and began to go before God and with my wife, and because we are in covenant.
Yes.
And we were praying the same thing at the same time.
Yes.
And we began to pray to God to dissolve the cancer cell out of my body.
Yes.
And eradicate the disease out of my body. And after the PET scan, Dr. Price came in this time with a smile on his face, but still shaking his head and said, this is rare. He said, the cancer cell in your lungs are not there. The cancer cell in your liver is not there. It's a small spot on the outside of your liver.
Yes.
And the cancer cell in your colon has localized in just one spot. So through surgery, we can go ahead and remove the diseased tissue and you'll be cancer free. But protocol says that take chemo for 6 months. So May 23rd, 2016, I was after surgery, cancer-free, but we did take chemo and finished in November of last year.
Wow.
And Dr. Nuclear on the last week of November said I'm officially a cancer survivor. There's no cancer cell in the lungs, liver, nor colon. So screening saved my life because there was no symptoms, of course. So,
my God.
And found out that through this process about prostate cancer among men, especially among African American men. We're diagnosed at a rate is twice as our white male counterparts. We're dying at a rate twice as our white male counterparts. There was a study done between the year 2009 and 2013, where some 31,000 men in the state of Georgia alone were diagnosed with prostate cancer. In that same time period, some 3,800 men died from a disease that was proper screening and coming together in education. There's a 100% cure rate. So that's why we're doing what we're doing.
Wow. I can see your drive to where and why. Yes, sir. You have a Mount Calvary Missionary Baptist Association.
Yes.
That's one of the partners with the Tree of Life?
Yes. Moderator, Dr. Flakes, wanted to partner with us in this. And it's been a great partnership. We really appreciate him. It's desire also to do this, and we're grateful along with some other sponsors as well. But
Yes.
we're great to have, and we have a wonderful medical community here in Columbus. We thank God that the volunteers will be there with us that day. And we want to give a mention to the Metro Black Nurses Association. We have nurses there. The Nurse Practitioner Association, we have nurses there.
Yes.
Mrs. Seldom at First Step, we have a phlebotomist there. And of course, we have some individuals coming down from the United States Public Health Service.
Wow.
From Washington and Atlanta coming in to be with us, and doctors and nurses here locally as well. So people that are willing to give of their time and gifting to come together and sort of bring a halt to this issue, because there's too many of our fathers and sons and friends and uncles that are dying from disease.
Yes.
That again, with the proper screening and education, has a 100% cure rate. So that's what it's just right now, something that a passion that God laid upon my heart, and it just has to be done.
You know, sometimes the thing that you went through, I'm hearing this, the very thing that you went through has equipped you to do what you're doing. If you hadn't have went through it, you wouldn't be doing this. You know, there's purpose. That was the purpose. That it wasn't about you when you were dealing with all your cancer issues. It was about what for everybody else. It was about you, but it was for someone else.
Absolutely. And through that process, again, the passion that God, because again, we know that there are some men who don't have the ability, didn't have the resources to go and get screened. And so this event is for men who have health insurance or no health insurance. And of course, at no cost to them. We just want them to avail themselves of that so they can be with their family and from decades to come and live a healthy and normal life.
Okay, now the screening is not just for men, is it?
Well, primarily for men, but if the ladies show up, we're targeting men, but if the ladies show up, we'll be doing, of course, the checking for cholesterol levels and for diabetic,
diabetes,
right, and,
high blood pressure,
doing those things as well. So, ladies, we ask you all, because a lot of times the men won't move unless they just hurting too, where they can't stand it any longer.
You better not.
But it takes our wives and our daughters, our sisters and mothers to get us up and to go see about ourselves.
That's the truth.
So we're encouraging the ladies to get their loved ones off the couch and in front of the TV that day and come out and see about their health.
That's awesome. So again, this free prostate cancer screening is on March 11, 2017 at the Columbus Convention and Trade Center. So y'all fellas, come on, let's do it. We need you guys to live.
Absolutely.
Amen. You guys keep it locked right here with the Joneses. We'll be right back.
There's a shelter pet who wants to meet you. Meet one today. Visit theshelterpetproject.org. Adopt.
Taking care of a family member can lead to plenty of questions. Fortunately, there's a place to get the answers, for them and for you. Find articles, tips, and tools from experts and others who have been in your place. The Caregiving Resource Center at aarp.org/caregiving.
Welcome back to the Sharon Jones Show. Sitting on set with Pastor Howard, one of our partners with the Sharon Jones Show. I tell you, he always has such good information, and he's a spiritual man of wisdom. So let's talk about, Pastor, how we're having this screening for the men that Pastor Client was just speaking with our last segment, and he's actually given the open opportunity for free screening for cancer, because there's so many of the males that pass because not proper. But you were talking a little bit as we were getting ready for our segment about men's getting on focus.
Yes, and thanks for having me back. I think one of the things that we don't do well as men, we don't like challenge. And I think that's one of the reasons no one wants bad news, but the fear of getting bad news keeps us from getting any news at all.
All right now.
And, you know, there's an old saying that whatever you know, the scripture said, oh, magnify the Lord with me. And it's impossible to actually make him bigger. But I got to understanding that whatever we focus on, it grows.
Yeah.
And so depending upon what we choose to focus on determines how our outlook on life, it determines what we pursue, and so if we could find a way to not focus on our fears, we'd probably take better care of ourselves. We'd probably make more advances in life, but if somehow we get off focus and it's the fear of not knowing. And so one of the scriptures in the Message translation talks about Abraham. When and it says Abraham didn't focus on his own impotence. And so he considered not, the King James says he considered not his own body, the weakness of his own body. And it's not until you can focus on your strengths that you really won't start take some action against your fears. And so for men, and I know that's all of us, but men in specific, we have to learn to focus on what's most important. You know, if I'm focusing on leaving the earth, I forget to focus on doing things while I'm on the earth.
Wow.
And so my fear of the bad news, I'll start focusing on that, which will cause me to have a lot of inactivity, inaction, indecisiveness. And so it becomes critical that we learn to focus. You know, they say whatever you focus on is what you'll gravitate towards.
Wow.
So I don't mind getting bad news. I just won't focus on the bad news.
Okay.
I focus on the healing that comes after the bad news.
All right. My God.
But we have this fear that keep us from focusing. And you know what happens? You ever all of us, we've been off focus before.
Yes.
It seems like we stay in these circles and we go around these mountains and just kind of drift all over the place. Focus is powerful.
Yes.
And sometimes one of the greatest things we don't focus on is ourselves, our health. And that's
true.
That's fear-based because grandmama had this disease, my father, my mother had this. And so we'll focus on everyone else, but then we're tired, we're depleted. Why? No focus. So I think focus is everything for us, especially men, because there's an inner wiring to take care of everyone else.
Yes.
That sometimes we have to stop and focus on us.
Yeah.
And so, you know, when you hear a screening, a health movement, something that's going to benefit you, take the focus off of everyone else.
Yes.
And just focus on me. There's a saying I want to leave with everyone, just even with you. There'll never be a better them unless there's a better me first.
All right.
Because if I'm not well, I can't help anyone else be well.
Yes.
So I got to learn to do some focus on me.
Yes.
And it'll help put their fears in perspective. And a great picture is, have you ever taken a picture and something close to you appeared in focus, but things far behind it were kind of blurry?
Yeah.
My fear, my concern is, it's the thing that's blurry that I can't see that may be what's affecting me.
Wow.
And so if I could have the ability to refocus, I'd be a better person.
Wow. My God. You broke that down, Pastor. I mean, you to break down, man. I'm just like, yeah, okay. But I love it because, you know, you go elementary and then you go all the way into college. However the viewers want to get it, you got it.
And it's needed because we're prone to focus on everything else. Our pain has caused us to look elsewhere. Yeah. And you know, that's like a person wanting to shift into a different job. It's easier for me to look at your job, your situation, but if I never focus on mine, I'll never make any changes. which makes me miserable.
Yes.
So I appear to be stuck in a rut. The real answer is I didn't look at me. I looked everywhere else.
Wow.
And so we have to learn to focus, really be intentional about who we are, what we're doing, and taking care of ourselves
Yes.
as people. You know, we let everything be God's responsibility. But I remember the Bible says he's given us power. And so I've got to focus my power on me sometimes.
Yes.
I'm not going to be arrogant, not going to be
selfish and arrogant now.
But I just got to make sure I take care of me because as a husband and a father, my family is only as good as I'm good.
That's right.
So I've got to focus on me sometimes.
On you sometimes. I know, right? Because that was my thing, helping everybody else when I was broken and I was just pouring out. I didn't have anything to pour at one point to pour from. I'm still trying to pull out and pour out stuff I didn't really have. And I was just tagging myself out, you know. And I would love to see our men in this community rise up. Ain't nothing wrong with getting some help.
Absolutely. Like I said, we've got to learn to focus on us because a better me makes a better society.
Yes.
And so I can't fix the world unless I'm willing to fix me first.
That's right.
And so it all starts with focus.
Yes, all start with focus and all starts with us, ourselves.
Yeah.
Amen. And with God in it, we can all win.
Absolutely. And that's a critical thing. So now when I put it in perspective, if I magnify him, it means I'll focus on him more than all the other fears and problems in life.
Amen. Because believe it, at the end of the day, God got it.
Absolutely.
Amen.
Absolutely.
Thank you so much for that word on today. You viewers, we'll look back to see you next week. Same place, same time. Keep it locked right here with the Joneses.
Thank you for watching today's show. If you would like additional information about today's show, call or email us.
There's a shelter pet who wants to meet you. Meet one today. Visit theshelterpetproject.org. Adopt.